Well, hello, and welcome back to the Old Salty Store Front Porch Podcast. It's Saturday, April the 20th, 2024, and we have another beautiful day here in the Salty Valley. And at the Old Salty Store, I'm Don Allison, and with me here today is Bill Cohen, and we're doing a continuance of our hopefully weekly podcast that we're going to tell you a little bit about what's going on at the Salty Store, what's going on in the area, and probably a little bit of just nonsense. Is that right, Bill?
We got nonsense. I got that down, man. Nonsense is kind of just automatically flows out of my mouth. We are in a little bit different location. We are in a store, and we're on the porch, but actually we're in the silo or the corn bin. No telling what's been in this corn bin, as well as there's plenty of corn sitting here now, but I don't know, what do they use this?
It would have been a feeder for a chicken house.
Ah.
And that's what the stuff hanging from the ceiling is, a chicken feed, or what's left of it.
I hope it's only chicken feed up there, yeah. But it sounds kind of hollow, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a good place to sing in.
Well, it's windy outside, and so
Yeah.
it was a bit out of the wind, so we thought it might be better to be in the silo today.
It's been a busy day. We haven't been as busy. You can still hear a lot of motorcycles driving by. We've had a lot of bikes drive by today, which makes it a little noisy when we're trying to play and sing. But we've had a lot of folks in and out. People from, I don't know if we had very many people from overseas. Yesterday we had several people from different countries. Today it's been a lot of Athenians, a lot of folks from Athens, a lot of folks from the Carolinas.
Dogs.
Pardon?
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, yeah. We had a guy. Where was he from? From North Carolina. Where was he from? No, Tar Heel. Yeah. And here it is. It's 75 degrees out here, and the guy was wearing a sweatshirt. He just such a fan. He didn't want anybody to know that
He was from Ocracoke.
Yeah. But anyway, we've had a lot of folks from. We've had Maine here today. We've had, like I say, the Carolinas. A lot of folks from Tennessee. Of course, a lot of folks from Georgia. A lot of people again from Atlanta. We always have a lot of folks from Atlanta, and we've had some young couples, and then we've got we've had some really old people here today too, you know, and so they all get a kick out. One lady came just to get to play the Nickelodeon, and then a guy came from South Georgia. The first ones we had, I guess he was the first one yesterday that came here. He waited. He got here about 9:20. He came up here to get cheese. That's all he came for. Now he ended up getting some cider too, but he came up here and sat on the front porch, visited a Vietnam veteran, had a nice visit with the guy. But I've forgotten where he's from, down below Savannah somewhere, down by maybe St. Mary's or somewhere down there. But he came up here, and his main quest was to get our cheese.
Well, speaking of the Nickelodeon, last week you mentioned that the Nickelodeon had the hiccups.
Yeah.
And it's escalated to a full-on spell now, I think.
Right. I had it a minute ago when it got to number 9. It started 10 and it stopped, and so I rewound it to 1 to the first song, and it's working fine. So I think it has something to do with that reel back toward the. I don't know that, but the reel may be worn out. Who knows how old that reel is?
I think it may be. I put out a call to the only fellow that we know of in the North America that knows how to work on those things, and he's going to try to get by and take a look at it at some point. He said he was busy right now, so it'll be a while.
I hope we can get in here because people love that Nickelodeon. They have more fun with it. Children dance with it. Old people dance with it. You can't, when the music starts, you can't stand still. And it's just part of you. And again, this lady, she brought, and another one brought her grandchild in here today to hear the Nickelodeon. I remember there's 2 of them today, and that's always fun. We had a wonderful couple here a few minutes ago. She's going to have her first child in June, and she had fun tasting the cider, and the child's going to be named Charlotte. And so she kept saying, we'll talk about what if Charlotte's going to like this. And then her last thing before she left, she said, we're going to bring back Charlotte soon. And so she's excited about it. She had a blast here. Now, we have been sampling the Yoder vinegar, which is apple, cherry, tart cherry, elderberry. It's a real good health drink. It's helped with blood pressure and arthritis. And like I say, it sounds like the ultimate elixir. I think we may have talked about that last week. But now she didn't try it today, but we had a lot of people try that today. I don't know how many people bought it. I know some did because it really tastes amazing. Edwards diluted it in a club soda, which makes it almost like a very comfortable drink. But again, I don't look at it as a beverage, but I do drink it every morning. Of course, I drink it straight because I like the flavor of it. And but anyway, we sold a lot of that. And I had my pimento cheese sandwich today. It took me about 3 hours to eat it because Carl brought it over to me. As soon as she brought it to me, a customer started coming in. Then I lost it one time. I don't know where I laid it, and finally I found it. So I don't know if somebody moved it or anyway, I found it. So I don't know if somebody ate half of it before I got back to it. I don't know. But it was. But anyway, I just love those sandwiches. And yesterday I had the broccoli soup that Nikki made. That was really, it was different. I'd never seen it. I was expecting, when they told me that broccoli soup to be a traditional broccoli cheese soup, but it was a thinner base. It was really tasty, and she had some other vegetables in it. She's very creative, and that's what makes that deli just extra special. And of course, we have now people come just to the deli and don't come in the store.
Yeah, I had the special Italian
Yeah.
sandwich today. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it.
And we had a doctor in here today that sat on the front porch for probably 20, 30, no, goodness, for probably an hour. And he and his wife, and then they went over and spent another hour at the deli and sat out in the front under that little porch area that when you first walk in the door, and they had that special. They talked about how good it was. I appreciate her creativity. So it's always interesting to see. And of course, then we got our standards that everybody loves. So it's a good place to eat. But we've had some really congenial customers. I talk about it all the time, but people love to come to the store. They love to learn about it. And I'm always reading, and I learned today, and I think I told you about it, that when this store was built, I always talk about Grant was president. It was just after Lincoln had got shot. But I learned today that when this store was built, Billy the Kid was 9 years old. and Doc Holliday was 19. Jesse James was 25, and there's one other of those famous outlaws. Wyatt Earp. He was 24 when this store was built. So those guys were active. We hear about those guys back in the Wild West or the wild years ago, and we don't realize this store is part of that era. That's what makes it, I guess, be so alive. Then a lady just a few moments ago was talking to me, and she was leaving, and she was talking about how it was 40, 50 years ago, and how much different it is now. She says, it seems so much different. And I said, well, the store is exactly the same. And she said, well, the people back then, they didn't do a lot. They just had the store. And I said, well, they were fine folks. I'm sure they did everything they wanted to do. But I said, now it's a whole different. And she says, well, again, she's an old lady. She's talking about how much fun it is. So that's cool. I like those kind of things. I like those things. What was the highlight of the band today? I thought that was great. I mean, I didn't get to play much. I was so busy in the store. But you guys sounded terrific out here. You could hear it in the store and out front as well.
Well, this is the third week we've had our picking shed, and we are really enjoying that. And today we had a couple of newcomers stop by and pick and sing, and they were fantastic. And hope they'll all come back as well as the others that have come before. We real excited about that. It just started out as a well, Bill, you did it. You put a guitar on the front porch and just propped it up against the wall, and first thing you know, somebody picks it up and plays it, and then next thing you know, somebody brings theirs out of the car, and you play with them and sing with them, and next thing you know, we've got some really talented people coming.
We had
by.
several customers play my guitar today.
Yeah.
And one customer lives not too far from here, and he's a drummer, and he wants to come back. And I told him, well, we got a cajon or something for you to bang on. And then I've got a couple of friends that are drummers that live in that travel around, and I think they'll probably show up. Had a Marine customers. He's going to come back. He lives near. He wants to come and play with us. So we've told folks, you know, anybody that you're listening on to this, if you play, you don't have to play good. If you, there's some really, really fine players, and then there's me. And but come on, bring your guitar or your banjo or whatever, and pick with us, and sing with us. Yesterday I had a piano teacher here. Had one of those big. She was also a teacher, so she had big voices. You know, almost the old operatic type style. But sweet lady, and she was fascinated with the Nickelodeon. And so we were standing by the Nickelodeon, and she said, I said, well, you're a singer too? She said, oh yes. And because I'd heard her sing, I'd sung She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain or something when the Nickelodeon was played. And she sang with me, and I heard that kind of bigger voice. And so I imagine she's got a powerful, powerful voice. But anyway, I said, what's your favorite song? She said, well, it'd probably be a hymn. And I said, okay, what is it? And she said, well, it's How Great Thou Art. And I said, okay, sing it. And so she started singing, like, oh, Lord, my God. And I started harmonizing with her. I kept my voice light, so she kept her voice light. And it was just beautiful. And it was, I mean, just this marvelous lady's voice, and I'm just kind of harmonizing with her on top. I should have recorded that, but it happened so spontaneously I didn't think to do it. But I got a note from her. She found me on Facebook and sent me a note. She and her husband, they're going to come back. And I said, well, come back and sing with us. So
that's great.
So those are the kind of, you know, the store is a one-on-one people place. The products are important, but what interaction between the people probably far exceeds the product. We got to sell the products. We got to keep the lights on, and but that connection with people and our community, and then our community people. Yeah, I'd have local people today visiting, almost welcoming outside people coming in. So the local people are kind of taking ownership. They're proud of the store. You got to come here. You got to see this, and they're total strangers, and yet they're connecting. That, man, that's you can't buy that.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Really good.
You can't buy that. And the music going, we can hear it in the store. We can hear it out front. We didn't have as big a crowd out front today. Of course, there's a lot of festivals going around in the area today, but we had a lot of people listening from the porch and from the inside of the store. So we had a pretty good audience today, and it's always fun. So it's a good day, and I look forward to the next one. I don't know what. There's probably a festival next week. A festival every other day, seems like. So there'll be something coming up. I was trying to think. We had a family today that talking about the building. They own a home that was built in 1800, and he was comparing some of this, the way our building's built, like their home is built, and there's a lot of similarities. And they just, matter of fact, they talked a lot to Rosemarie about the way the windows fit and things like that, and they're so proud of their home, and it's on the National Register, I think. It's in Madison County, wherever that is. That's not too terribly far, is it?
About an hour and a half, probably.
Yeah. And but we, I just think that the customers is what brings the energy to it, and I love it when people are here before we open and they're hanging around after we're trying to close.
There was a local lady this morning here with her dog when I got here.
Yeah.
I was the first one here, and she was out here staring at the picking porch.
Yeah.
The picking shed, having a fit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she's had decreed before she left, she had contacted the company that makes them and was going to get one for their property. So
yeah, she's been coming in quite a bit. They've been here last year or so. They live not too far away. We've got several kids, and we've had a blast with them. They come in, and she's so energetic, so much fun. She's the spark in that family for sure. You know, yeah, that's always fun to have people like that keep coming back. And keep coming back. And there was a lady today that she's Hispanic, from Cuba maybe, but she comes periodically. An older lady, probably probably my age, maybe a little older than me, and I was talking to a customer, and she steps up on the porch, and we make eye contact, and I mean she just stares me down, because she knows that I made that contact, and then later as she was leaving, I got a chance to sing to her a little bit in Spanish, and she always gets a kick out of that when I sing to her, and but she and her, I won't mention her name, but she and her daughter are real. They love to come. They come to get usually get candy or a wheel of cheese. About every other time they get cheese, queso in their case. But those are the kind of people. And then preachers. I can pick preachers out in a heartbeat. And this morning we had a guy come in. I knew in a moment he was a preacher, and I didn't say something at first. I let him let me know. But that happened last week or 2 weeks ago. Another guy came in. I've been around him so much in my life. I can just tell, And sure enough, this guy was a pastor and a musician. He was and we had a guy come in today that builds pianos. I mean, designs pianos. You met him, didn't you?
I did.
And he was a Vietnam veteran, and then he went to work for Baldwin and Hamilton. Hamilton pianos were the kind goodness, you could drop them off the top of this building and they still play. They were workhorses. They put them in schools. I probably bought 50 of them in my lifetime for churches or schools that I worked with, and he was the designer of a lot of that stuff. Now his wife got him talking, and then she left so she could go shopping. So she knew he'd sit out there and talk to me, because I can talk to a brick, and he obviously could too. So we just had a good time visiting. But he was fascinated again with the Nickelodeon. Yeah, we'll hope that guy can get in there and get that thing rolling, because that's an amazing piece of equipment. What's the name of the people that we got that from? You remember the name? Or that's
The family.
Mhm.
I have it in the office. I didn't.
You visited with them last
I
week.
did.
Yeah.
We'll probably include that in a future episode.
Yeah.
With their commentary on their family's involvement with the Nickelodeon being here.
Yeah. That's been here about 80 years, best I can tell.
That was what they confirmed, and
Yeah.
we'll share that in much more detail a little bit later on. So we're looking forward to next time out, and hope y'all will tune in and join us and see what's going on in Sawtee, in the old Sawtee store. And if you have any ideas of things you'd like to hear about that maybe we don't talk about, let us know. You can contact us at oldsawteestore.com.
And I like to look at the history. If there's something that, give me something to research, because I get a kick out of that. And so that'd be great if people would contact us. We're talking about setting something up where people can contact us, and we can build a consortium of just friends of the store. And maybe if you got ideas, throw it at us. We'd love it.
Well, until next week, Bill.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, guests.